Hey, welcome back, Caroline. Thanks again for meeting me for our second session of cognitive behavioral therapy. Let me ask you before we begin, how was the drive here?
It was pretty good. Kind of sorry I'm late again, but I'm just glad I got to get here, I guess.
Okay. Well, that's I'm really again glad that you got here, and that's fine with you being late. I know that we said that we would talk about that and maybe start the session off with trying to assess the punctuality, trying to assess some of the thoughts of your depression and anxiety and dealings with procrastination.
Mm-hmm.
But before we begin, I do have to apologize a little bit because I forgot last session to bring to your attention what's called a mood check.
Okay.
And so what we'll be doing in the beginning from week to week, we'll be assessing your mood and just seeing how you're doing. And, we just want to see if there's any sort of change or any sort of progress that might be made. So just to begin, how are you feeling today? Are you having any, positive thoughts, maybe some negative thoughts? I don't know. I know you discussed last time thoughts of maybe feeling worthlessness. Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, a little bit. I always kind of feel a little worthless. I just, feel like I'm a failure. I just can't get anything right sometimes. I've definitely still been having some problems with being depressed and anxious, and my procrastination's it just seems like it's getting worse.
Yeah. So, we had discussed some of the homework and how to try to work on focusing on your thoughts and stuff like that. If you're on time or if you're late or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I was wondering, during this last week, was there anything that you tried to do that might have helped some of those thoughts of anxiety and depression, in regards to your mood?
No, I can't really think of anything.
Okay. Well, for some clients that experience some of these similar symptoms of anxiety and depression, there's this worksheet that I use for them, and what it basically is it's just two lists. It's just a list with two columns in it, and it's things that make me feel better and things that things that can help me feel better and things that can help me feel worse.
Mm-hmm.
So to begin, I kind of want to focus on maybe one thing, I don't know, that might make you feel better.
Well, I really like hanging out with my friends, and if I'm able to just kind of be on time, it's a big thing for me. Even this past week, I got to go to a movie with my good friend Omar, and I was able to get there on time, which was a really big thing, and I felt like I had accomplished something, and it made me just feel a lot better.
Great, that's amazing. I mean, definitely, we should definitely focus on that a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to those two questions, what's something that might make you feel worse?
Probably just being late in general. I just sleeping in past my alarm clock, and just even the worrying and thinking about being late. That just always comes with it.
Okay. Do you ever feel like you might be avoiding something?
I guess I'm just avoiding just being, worried and anxious that I'm gonna be late almost, kind of thing. I don't know, something like that.
Okay. Sounds like something that we discussed previously about the cognitive model, and I'll express again in just a little bit. But definitely hearing some signs of maybe avoidance and lack of participation in what we're trying to focus, change on.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to begin by discussing an agenda. I think it's really healthy for us to, figure out what problems we need to solve and prioritize those problems just as well, so we can really tackle one thing at a time.
Okay.
So with that being said, do you have any significant problems that you can think of that you might want to work with me on?
My depression is it's bad, and my anxiety is just starting to kick in a little bit more every day, and it's just like the procrastination's probably getting the worst, and just even that stuff like with applying for jobs, applying for school, it just seems like I can never get the deadline, always late, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So
So definitely have a few things to
Yeah.
think about for this session, because we had discussed the homework of trying to see what it felt like to be on time, or things like that. Why don't we try just focusing on procrastination today, and we'll go from there.
yeah, I think that's probably my biggest issue right now. So I think that'd be good to really hone in on. So.
So, how'd you do on your homework? Speaking of which.
I did okay. I mean, it went well. I mean, I wrote everything down like you asked, and I still, obviously, some things didn't work out. I was still late, like today, and just kind of, I don't know. It was okay, but.
Okay. Well, I'm really appreciative that you were able to still write everything down. I know you did come in a little bit tardy today. So, with that being said, I want to discuss the cognitive model a little bit again.
Okay.
And really, it just kind of breaks down into three simple things. It's almost like a vicious circle. They all kind of affect one another, but we have what's called like a problem, like the problem situation.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, being late would be the problem situation.
Yeah.
Automatic thoughts would be, how are you thinking about being late? What thoughts might arise, and then the feelings of being late,
Mm-hmm.
and everything like that. So, all of those, all of those different pieces really make the cognitive model, and it really can make kind of a dysfunction in our thoughts. So, I want to start by asking a couple questions in regards to those three things, those three pieces that we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you, we'll use you being late today. What's the worst thing that happened?
Well, I mean, just being late in general, maybe just, disappointing you or something, and, not kind of keeping my promise there.
Definitely. Sounds to me like maybe that happened in the past too,
Mm-hmm.
maybe disappointing someone that you were late for. But if something like this happened,
Mm-hmm.
and as it did today,
Mm-hmm.
what would you normally do to cope with something like this?
Well, I mean, I don't know, I just be late, and I just kind of have to deal with it. Everything would just have to, kind of go on as it did,
Yeah, very true. So, kind of a stranger question. What's the best thing that could have happened?
Well, the best thing, I don't know, I've never really thought about the best thing that could happen when I'm late. I mean, it's always the worst to me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't know, maybe I might be able to interject. Maybe with 15 more minutes, we could have spent 15 more minutes discussing procrastination, and maybe, I don't know, we might have been able to try to look at another problem to work with solutions on.
Mm-hmm.
That could be some things, we
Yeah.
So, what is that effect like for you in believing kind of some of those thoughts you talked about? You spoke of maybe people being mad at you for being late, or maybe I was mad at you.
Mm-hmm.
What is the effect? What effect does it have on you?
And it makes me just worried and anxious and all that kind of stuff. It's just, I get really stressed out about it.
Okay. Well, I do recall that you mentioned that you were able to go to the movies on time. You were able to make it. You spent some good time with Omar, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell Omar if he were in a similar situation, or even the same situation like this?
I mean, I just tell him to really try to get there earlier, and make it on time for something like this that's so time sensitive.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. How would he do that?
I guess maybe by, I don't know, kind of setting an alarm, maybe like just really trying to leave, 15 minutes early or something like that.
Yeah, that's really a great idea. Do you think that's something that maybe you could maybe try to do next time?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if I didn't wait till the last minute to leave like I do all the time, I think that, if I set some kind of schedule like that, it probably would help me.
Okay, good. So, just to review, we had discussed some of the new things that we're going to be working on, which is basically weekly mood checks. We discussed the procrastination and again working on some of the other concerns that you have with anxiety and depression and things like that. Let me ask you, how does procrastination feel to you?
I mean, it just makes me worried and it makes me anxious all the time, and it's like I don't know, it's just I don't know how to handle it very well.
So with that, we'll try to maybe start 15 minutes earlier on some of the things that we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Would you feel alright with maybe making like a scheduler of some sort for the week, and every time you maybe have to leave at this time, you leave 15 minutes earlier than that?
Yeah, I think that could really help me actually.
Okay, and so with that established, how would that make you feel as far as the feelings of anxiety in regards to that procrastination?
I think it would make me feel like more secure and just less anxious, less antsy, just about the whole thing.
Great. Okay, so we'll definitely chalk that in with your homework. I just want to reiterate that you've already made your first schedule, which is meeting with me weekly, and everyone's late, so don't beat yourself up about it. We'll try to attend more punctual next time. To review your homework, where I still want you to work on writing your feelings down. I think you did a great job with that. I want you to continue to do that.
Okay.
I'd also like to see your scheduler, and then I'd also like to see how leaving 15 minutes earlier than you normally would, how is that working for you? So that's all in the cards for us
Okay, I think
for next week.
yeah, I think I could do that.
Okay,
Just
great.
keep working on those.
Well, I can't wait to see what happens next week. How do you feel about your progression so far? I know we've only had a week to do this.
Yeah. I feel like I am getting somewhere a little bit. Like I know that I have a lot to work on, but I think that even just sleeping better this past week, it just kind of showed me that things are improving a little bit for me. So it's been good.
Do you have any questions for me or?
Nothing at this time. No, I'm pretty good.
Okay, great. Well, I look forward to seeing you again. Safe travels, and